Megan, quick question. How much wine do you think someone has to drink before they consider themselves a wine expert?
Based on this podcast, about 2 glasses. That's when everyone becomes a wine expert.
That's fair. But if you're buying wine online, you should know about WTSO, Wine Still Sold Out. They're celebrating 20 years this year.
20 years. That's longer than my marriage.
It's way longer than your marriage, actually. Exactly. Their whole thing is flash deals, one wine at a time at seriously good prices.
Okay, so when the wine sells out, that's it.
That's it. It's literally in the name, Wine Still Sold Out. And we're talking bottles from classic wine regions all over the world.
All right, I like the confidence.
They even back it up with a 100% customer satisfaction guarantee. Plus, they run free shipping events and deals all the time.
Free shipping on wine is dangerous information.
Yes, it is. Check them out at WTSO.com and help them celebrate 20 years of wine deals. Hello. Welcome to Kill a Bottle Podcast. Eddie Zamora, a.k.a. the Yum Yum Foodie. And look at this, live and in the flesh next to me. No, this is Megan. Megan is here. Hey, Megan, how are you?
Great. How
Golden.
are you?
Golden. I'm really excited about our guest that we have on today. So, guys, thank you for listening. Like I said, it is Kill a Bottle Podcast. So I'm actually showcasing some bottles behind me, which I'll show you because, full transparency, it's 10 in the morning here in LA, and our guests are on the East Coast. So if I want to get anything done today, I am going to stick to like fizzy water at 10 in the morning. But at the end of my day today, I will be drinking some of the wines here. But without further ado, I just want to get right into it. I want to welcome to Kill the Bottle Podcast. You've heard me mention this website so many times, you're probably exhausted of hearing me mention it, but there's a reason why I mention it. I'm really excited to talk to the founder, CEO, and somebody who is going to be starting and stepping in and now running the organization as well. So we want to welcome to Kill the Bottle Podcast, Joe and Edward Arking. Hello. Hello, gentlemen. So we're here on the East Coast. You're here on the East Coast, where I'm originally from. I love your background. We got some. I heard you guys are Eagles fans, so that's wonderful. And I'm going to ask you, when they won the Super Bowl, what you drank. But first, I really want to talk about it's the 20th anniversary of WTSO. Stands for Wine Still Sold Out. And guests and fans of the show know how much Megan and I chat about it. In fact, right behind me, I've got some beautiful bottles that we'll talk about. But 20 years. So 2006, Joe, I got to ask you, what was the genesis of this brand? Because it blew me away the first time I went to your website, because my tax bracket could not afford some of the wines that I was seeing in there, and it really created an opportunity for me to taste things and explore new things. What was your original vision for WTSO?
So in 2006, they changed the laws of shipping wine, allowing FedEx and UPS to ship wine. That changed the dichotomy as the beginning of the direct-to-consumer business. We had grown. We have 2 supermarket-sized liquor stores in New Jersey.
Got it. So you were already in the business. Yeah. Yeah,
that actually are. We cater to Pennsylvania business because Pennsylvania is state stores.
Yes.
It's state, right? So they come for discounting. We built $1 million+ a year division in opportunity purchases. And in 2006, I figured I'd give it a shot and see how it worked on the direct-to-the-consumer business by shipping.
So do you remember the first wine you put up for DTC?
I don't actually. It's a good question. I could find out for you, and I will definitely tell you, but I couldn't tell you. We started with branded, very, very highly branded wine. In 2006, the wine business as it is today was much different. They were really driven by labels, winery labels, Kendall Jackson, people like that, Gurgage Hills, Opus One. And we had the opportunity, because we had a very, very big following, we had had opportunity to buy allocated product, and we sold it on the internet at deep discounts.
Now, when when that came about, and did you think, could you even fathom that you'd be talking about it 2 decades later?
No.
No. So this was just kind of like testing the waters, to see what that was going to look like for you.
We as a family are very entrepreneurial. We've done a lot of different things over the years. We've been in tickets, food, restaurants, full service, jewelry, manufacturing, and this was a natural foray into the wine business that would give us a much broader audience. And I didn't know how long it would last, and I didn't know if it was going to work. But in the end, success is taking and keeping the customer happy. And I think that was the premise from the beginning.
Well, and I mean, as a customer since 2011, I can tell you that, yes, as far as I've only in however many shipments and bottles, it's embarrassing, I think, at this point, how much wine I've had sent to me from. I love seeing the label that says New Jersey on there. It's kind of like the greatest thing in the world, knowing exactly what I'm getting. But I've only had one bottle that was damaged by heat, and it was resolved in a matter of minutes. It was just something that I felt cared about, as the customer, because you're shipping a product that's very fragile. You're shipping a product across the United States. What would you say was the biggest challenge for you when you were starting out? So the laws changed. Great. Did you just hit the ground running and try to negotiate deals with UPS and FedEx? What was your first step to kind of start navigating that? Because it can be overwhelming.
2006 was a different arena of e-tailing. I was one of the first, actually, definitely in the spirit category, to take it to the e-tailing level of direct shipment. Actually, my first call, once I decided I wanted to do it, was the 1-800 FedEx number.
Wow.
And it's in 2004, 2005. And it took us a year to set up the platform. And in the end, I want to say 2009, 2010, I was on the FedEx e-tailing board, directors board, with 7 or 8 big companies that were shipping direct at the time. But it wasn't like it was today, where you were fighting. Yeah, the competition was almost non-existent in this space.
Well, when would you say was because obviously the businesses have been around for 20 years now, not to quote the show Succession, but now it's keeping it in the family, and your son is working with you. What would you say, or what was the moment where you felt like, okay, this is actually going to work?
The day that I got an email from a very, very wealthy person who purchased a bottle of wine, champagne, for $70 electronically. He knew that the distributor nor the winery would take back the goods for credit. He's never gotten a credit from anybody, and we gave him a refund for $70 and said, we guarantee every bottle we sell. And he said he would tell every single person that he's ever met in the world that WTSO is the best wine company in the world.
What speaking of that and caring so much at about your customers, when you're looking at QC, quality control, is there, but by the time a wine gets to you guys, has it already gone through the process? Because we've all in the wine business seen the documentaries of there's counterfeiting this and that, and they're making labels, and you can walk into an office in China and pick your Chateau Lafite, Chateau Latour label and throw it on a bottle. What is that process for you as far as ensuring that that you're getting what is supposed to be sent to you before it even makes it to us?
So we only deal direct with the wineries themselves. We don't buy from any aftermarket. We don't buy from any, private collections. We don't buy from people where we have to actually verify the validity of the product. Where WTSO was built to assist wineries in selling excess inventory at a discount. The whole premise behind the Flash model was that we don't affect the label or the cost of the product, or
It's
we don't
value.
its value at all. We don't bastardize the winery. We don't hurt the label. We only run it for 6 to 8 hours at a max. So if you see a $300 bottle on our site for $79.99, once that item is done and once that offer is over, it goes away. It never hits Google. It never hits Wine Searcher. It never hits Seller Tracker or any of those sites. So wineries actually enjoy doing business with us because it gives them an outlet to move a lot of inventory very quickly without hurting the brand. So,
and based on, when you originally started, what would you say was the size of your storage facility versus what you are now? Because I got to imagine it's shifted and changed. Because my friends and I like to joke about, we're going to have this shipped to us from our New Jersey cellar, because we're Case Club members, and that's just it's like a fun ongoing joke away. And we got to imagine we're not the only two, and that has changed dramatically in 20 years.
We started in the store.
we started in the shed.
We started in the shed.
Hopefully, it was a temperature controlled shed, Ed. Please.
Oh yes, it was. When it was warm, it
All
was
right.
warm. When it was cold, it was cold. And then we actually leased 20,000 square feet near us as a warehouse. And then I purchased the building and took over the 40,000 feet. Today, we're at over 100,000 square feet of temperature controlled warehouse.
Yeah, I mean, and just to compare that, I gotta admit, I don't know how big a Costco is, but 100.
Costco's 30,000 feet.
It's 3 Costcos.
Yeah, so that's.
Drink.
Oh yeah, that's sorry. I didn't even do that on purpose. Sorry. Whenever I mention Costco on the show, people listening got a drink. So I'm drinking sparkling water, guys.
And I hate that you assumed that it's 10 a.m. and I didn't want wine.
Yeah,
That
really,
was a bad
Megan?
assumption.
Well, when it comes to Megan, that's fair.
really
It is an assumption that she's
Decisions
always
for
gonna
me.
want. I just thought you'd bring your own. You probably drove
Why
with
would
an
I
open
look
container,
at this?
Megan.
Why would I bring mine own?
Well, yeah, well, no, I have.
Megan would have loved my grandfather because no matter what time of the day it was, he would always say it's 5 o'clock somewhere.
I gotta cover my bases legally, guys. So you don't know what I was doing before the camera started rolling. And when I was in Napa a few weeks ago, I was drinking at 10 in the morning. I just I have
10 a.m.'s too late.
10 a.m. is too late. Well, yeah, it's 5 o'clock somewhere, as they always say. But that's kind of wild, Joe, to think of from shed to 3 Costco's worth of space. What would you say? And I'm just because I'm fascinated by your business in the most in the most loving way possible. I just think it's so brilliant, and as a consumer, it's you guys have created a business model that demystifies wine for folks. Where, for example, somebody who always wanted to try, and I'll tell you right off the bat, a Brunello de Montalcino, and I at the time was always apprehensive to spend $80-$100 on a bottle of Brunello, and I can't remember which one it was, but a bottle of Brunello popped up. And I do all my research ahead of time too. I keep on looking. I'm like, all right, yeah, no, this, all the reviews are great. And now, your website has also evolved with wonderful reviews and tasting notes. I mean, I gotta hand it to you guys. But I bought the equivalent of 3 bottles for the price of 1. And I was like, oh shit, this is great. I can open one now. And if I really like it, I am going to hold on to these other 2 and let them age a little bit longer. And that's kind of how I share you all to my friends and my audience. It's really just everybody's happy because the wineries are happy to move excess inventory. Obviously, you guys are making money, and then we are happy getting what we always feel like is a good deal. Because at the end of the day, from WTSO is always there. People's change. Their palates are different. That makes sense. But I got to hand it to you guys. It's just really fun to chat with you and kind of explore the beginning of this now, because if you weren't doing this, would it just be are you still managing those liquor stores? Do you still have them?
Yeah, we have 2 retail-sized liquor stores in New Jersey. One's about 22,000 square feet, one's 7,000 square feet, and they hit both sides of the inbound and outbound traffic of Philadelphia. So we're the first store over the bridge and the last store before you go back into Philly.
Got it.
We also just launched about a year and a half ago our sister site to WTSO, which sells spirits online as well, called Serve Neat. So we're
Great
trying
name.
to bring this in, customer service. It's a little bit, it's more allocated bourbons, hard to get stuff more at secondary pricing, a little bit more expensive than you would find on WTSO, but cheaper than the competition. But we're still bringing the same door-to-door service along with our customer service and guarantees to our consumer.
And the laws are also different too for spirits versus wine. And there's a lot of I always call them the Jesus laws. There's always some law that you have to navigate around to to try to make it work. What just based on my ignorance, I have some thoughts, but I don't know. What is the most challenging state to ship to? Oh yeah, for somebody who shot a television show in Provo, Utah.
Aren't they dry most of the state?
No, it's not dry most of the state. But I remember I landed in Salt Lake City. My rental car was delayed by like a couple hours. It was Saturday, and then it was like Sunday NFL football, and I didn't shoot on Sunday. I started shooting on Monday. So I may have sped to the state store, and then there's lower ABV. Like the ABV is different. So I don't even remember which wine I bought. I just remember I saw, because they make it in Utah at the time, and they hadn't sold yet to Celestial, I believe. It was High West. And I was like, oh shit, I got to grab at least 2 bottles. I bought so much stuff I didn't need just because I was watching one football game the next day, and then my room became the party room during that set because I had party in Eddie's room. So that makes perfect sense. Yeah, it's funny, I had forgotten about Utah. In my mind, I was thinking like North Carolina. I was thinking, so my brother lives in North Carolina, and I know getting I can ship wine to him, but booze it's a whole other animal.
Yeah, it's to navigate the rules and to get through. You have to be really thoughtful and understanding. We own a lot of licenses in a multitude of states.
I mean, it's amazing, and at the end of the day, obviously you have to. I was curious with the evolution of the space and storage that you put together. Did the business come first, or did the thought? Were you just thinking ahead to get more storage? In other words, was there an opportunity for a huge lot to buy at a great price to then move that you're like, oh shoot, we have to get more space?
We were always challenged for space. Even today, we're challenged for space. Unfortunately, to keep our prices as low as we can, we need to use it in a spendthrift type basis. The 100,000 square foot, 28 span, it goes up 2 stories. So we constantly are evolving into.
Are in there.
Oh my God. No worries.
Today, currently, actually, we should have done it from the warehouse.
I know where I'm going if there's a zombie apocalypse.
Probably any time between $3 and $6 million.
What a great movie story. Zombie apocalypse hits, and our only goal is to survive and get across to New Jersey to get
to the Jersey get to my Case Club cellar. Really, just my 100 and something bottles.
What a funny movie.
That's a great premise. That's it. Guys, don't steal this. We're writing that movie. We'll reach out to you guys. Megan and I cross country trying to get to the cellar. But. Now, speaking of Case Club, so guys listening at home, you've heard me mention it before, but Case Club is one of the opportunities to purchase through WTSO, where these lovely gentlemen will store your wine for you. Wine you purchase through them. You're not sending them the bottle that you picked up at the small winery in Napa. It's stuff that you pick up through WTSO, and then when you hit 12 bottles, you can ship yourself 12 bottles and get a $10 credit, which is again amazing. My friend, he has a few hundred bottles. in your Case Club. I think I say only because I have so much freaking wine in my house that I have an addiction where I see stuff pop up on your website and I'm like, oh shit, this is just too good to pass up. Sending it to my house and I have a closet full of wine on the floor versus all of my fridges are full. So what is the vetting process for you guys to work with a winery?
So, the wine business today is very similar to where the wine business was back when we first started in 2006. Along the years, we've had many opportunities to work with wineries that, wanted to protect their own names. So we made, proprietary labels for ourselves, like control labels
Through the winery.
through the winery itself, with their corks, with their juice, with everything, similar to like Encantado, Judge and Jury, some of the wines you might have seen on the website over the last 20 years. Today, being the wine industry in general is having its hiccups, we're really getting a lot of opportunities with wines that have high profile names, high ratings, great appellations, good juice, good price points. So it's not really a vetting process. It's more, what could we offer to our client that they're going to believe is a great value to the client themselves, like $100 bottle for 90, you said a $90 bottle of Brunello for $29.99. So it's not so much the wineries itself, but it's like, what does the winery have history of that will be, really attractive to the customer.
The wine business today is very similar to 2006, 2007. The wine business, just like the wine and spirit business and everything else, has its ebbs and flows. Products are readily available because there's an oversupply, specifically in California, Oregon, Washington. And other than the challenge of the euro and the tariff, which is a disaster, we buy more than most people purchase. We buy whole lots. So that helps the winery stay in business, and at the same time helps us pass on those savings to the consumer.
Yeah, I found my first bottle that I ordered from WTSO, and I'm going to share it with you because I remember it popped up, and I'm like, oh shit, I can't pass this up. Oh my gosh, and it's like 2 addresses ago. I'm looking at the order, and I'm like, I wonder who lives there now. Anyway, it was a Raymond Vineyards from Napa Library Collection 1998 bottle of Generations, which is one of their signature labels, and I remember it was a bottle that was well over $100 at the time in 2011, and I got it to a restaurant in Beverly Hills that I can't remember what the name was of the restaurant. It's not there anymore. And I opened it, and the somm was like, "Oh, what is this?" It was one of those where it was like, "What?" my $26.99, which is still not $26.99 is expensive for a lot of people, but when you if somebody told you that you could a Corolla and get a Ferrari handed to you, the Corolla is, that's not a cheap car per se, but when you're getting a Ferrari for the price of a Corolla, it's a really, really wonderful experience. And I was curious. But I was mentioning QC, and we know that certain vintages, for example, because I had a wonderful experience with a 2020 wine on your site from Stag's Leap, and it was, I think, their Soda Canyon. I'm trying to remember which one it was. So, for example, like this wine, my friend had purchased it, and I was like, oh shoot, 2020. That's a lot of wineries in Napa have smoke taint. Because of the fires, and depending on when wineries harvested, sometimes smoke taint shows up later. Sometimes it's more abundant on the begin. And then we opened this wine, and it was friggin' spectacular. My friend's like, "All right, I ordered 2 cases of it for his New Jersey cellar." How do you guys navigate things like that? Maybe where a particular vintage has some kind of a stigma around it. And obviously, this wine I had was perfect. It was delicious. Does that come into play at all?
Yeah, we taste every bottle we purchase multiple times. Yeah, we were very, very careful to make sure that the wineries that we purchased in 2020, in the 2020 vintage, was smoke free. 19, if I'm correct, I think 19 was worse.
Yeah.
Than 20 in the smoke taint, and we purchased almost no 19s at all.
Yeah.
So again, it's just a matter of knowing remember, we guarantee every bottle we sell. We don't want to hurt you either.
Oh, no, yeah, right.
We, it's not unheard of in a lot of 400 cases or 5,000 bottles to get a case or two that smells or that has the odor of smell.
Right.
But we really navigated that really well. We were very lucky.
Speaking of odor and smell, and there are wines that get corked. It's just the nature of when you have a natural organic product that is part of a bottle of wine and it's surrounded by fermented grape juice. There's always potential for things like that. How have things shifted, or that you've noticed in the industry, from synthetic cork to screw top? I mean, you're seeing a lot of higher end wines now going sometimes into the screw top because they can control airflow. Have you noticed a shift on your end?
The cap works. It works. It's. I still like cork. I'm an old man.
Me too.
Cork. I like natural cork, even though 4 to 6% of wine gets cork. Maybe it's just age. Whites really should all be used in Stelvin cork. I mean, because whites age, and it would be better. Synthetic or Stelvin cork works much better in whites.
Got it. Yeah, because again, I've been in this business less time than you have, but in the 15, 16 years that I have been in this world, I have noticed a shift. Have you noticed, or what is, I guess, the biggest difference between drinkers when you started in 06 to now? As far as now, you have cannabis, you have all these alternatives where people may be going in that direction where maybe they were drinking before. How have things changed for you guys?
We've seen changes. I mean, we're hard pressed because the younger generation, younger than Ed, in their 20s and 30s, but turning to wine at a slower pace. GLP-1, the whole GLP craze is affecting, people are losing weight, which is great. They're drinking less. So which is one of the reasons that we've actually went and we started the spirit business a couple of years ago to try to use our existing infrastructure to sell more product. But I always believe that wine is cyclical. It was cyclical in 2006. It's cyclical in 2026. So it just takes time for people to understand that you're not going to smoke a joint with a steak.
Yeah. No. Mind you, I'll have a whiskey with a steak.
I'm with you.
Wine always, it has a cachet, right? Whether you're 20 years old or whether you're, in your 70s or 80s, like, it might come slower to the younger generations, but still, when you're celebrating, you're celebrating something great, you're celebrating a graduation, you're celebrating a wedding, or an affair, you're opening up a bottle of champagne, you're opening up a nice bottle of wine. You're not, if you want to just sit down, there you go.
Yeah, a little nice bottle of Blanc de Noir from WTSO.
Hey,
Sorry.
If you want to sit down and you want to have, a nice meal, not everybody on a Tuesday at 6:00 wants to have 3 glasses of bourbon and get sloshed. They want to have a nice glass of wine to calm down, to relax. So the wine industry itself is never going to go away. I think that today, the biggest, especially today, which is a benefit to us and to our customers, is that coming off of COVID, where there wasn't enough supply and so much demand because people were home drinking, right now there's so much supply and the demand is diminishing a little bit because there are other options.
Which allows us to purchase better.
Correct.
Right.
And give our customers a much better value.
Yeah, I mean, because I notice, and I love this, some you'll, every once in a while a wine will pop up that is like a library wine. There's some, like, whether it's for the folks that are learning about wine now or starting to get into it, one of my biggest pet peeves is somebody will go into a Trader Joe's, for example, and nothing against Trader Joe's, but they'll go into a Trader Joe's and they'll buy a Barolo, and they're like, oh, cool, Barolo for $20. What they're not looking at is that it's 2026. That Barolo for $20 is a 2024. It's not designed to drink 2 years old, and they'll take a sip and be like, this is awful. I don't like Barolo. It is one of the, I think that's education, right? Of course, because in America, I forgot the statistic of how long it is from shelf to opening a bottle, but it's a crazy quick number. And, through you guys' site, you can explore wines when they're supposed to be drank. There's always a little bit of a buffer, but my world for Barolo is 8 years. But sometimes, I've opened some that are 6 years old, and they're very drinkable. But I think that's a beautiful thing. And I was gonna ask you, what do you feel is the most underappreciated wine region?
I'm gonna leave that one.
Probably Washington State. Cabernet is the most underappreciated wine.
Like Red Mountain?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Red Mountain. That whole area is spectacular.
Agreed.
Almost identical to the Napa Valley Mountains, and you can pick up fantastic value there.
Well, on a previous episode, we had the youngest sommelier, youngest advanced sommelier in the United States. Maybe the United States or the world. Now I'm not doing him justice. But he became an advanced somm at 24, 25 years old now. His name is Matthias Mariquin over here at one of my favorite restaurants, Verse. And I opened a bottle of Willamette Valley Pinot with him because he's a Burgundy guy. As most of these, he's not a snobby somm, but when you get a bunch of somms in a room together, they're all, it's a pissing contest of how much Burgundy they drink. And he was so impressed by that bottle of Willamette Valley Pinot Noir from you guys. That's I think an underappreciated region as well. It's starting to get more traction, and I love that you guys feature a lot of those wines on WTSO because, again, you demystify them, you make them more approachable, and if you like Burgundy or you're in that world, here is a reasonable bottle of American wine that you're like, oh, wow, if I like these tones, these earthy notes, but, you also have some incredible Burgundies. What would you say, if you can remember, is you don't have to say the price for that wine, but an opportunity that came up for a wine that, how the hell did this wine end up where you guys were able to get it?
I'm saying opportunities.
I mean, in the olden days, Louis Fabrice, may he rest in peace, Louis Latour and I were very, very good friends, and I had access to the entire portfolio.
Amazing.
I mean, currently, like you talk about Raymond, I mean, I'm being in the business since 1985. Our relationships, it's still a small industry. And the people who are in the industry are relatively the same.
Yeah, they're all
so
the same.
Even the transition from myself to my son,
a lot of the
he knows most of the people that I did business with because they're friends.
And their kids are now coming into the business as well. It's a very family operated business.
Most of the wineries are definitely passed down from generation to generation, specifically in Europe. More so there than here. But I would say that that's the way we've nurtured together, and we've gone through the good times and the bad times together, which allows you to have a great value at all times.
All right, Ed, real talk. Has he been pressuring you to join the business? And say, was the liquor industry something you wanted to do when you were younger? Because it was in the family, or did you want to do something else and then this just called to you?
No, so I started my own business when I was 19 years old. I was in the hospitality business. I started selling tickets to concerts, sporting events, theater. I built the business from nothing to, I had 26 employees, 2 offices, one in New York and one here. And we were doing direct deals with like Major League Baseball teams, concert promoters. We were one of StubHub's and Vivid Seats and like those guys' biggest clients because they're just like a marketing arm. They don't own any inventory that sits on their site. And I was actually in the ticket business from the internet side at the beginning of that business. So when my father came to me and said, he wanted to start selling wine online, I had already been in the internet business, and there was a couple things that we threw against each other just as ideas on how to make the site better or, what might attract the customer. But I only got into this end of the business 5 years ago. There was no live events. Concerts were shut down during COVID and everybody was home drinking. So thankfully, the family business was on the liquor end and while one business went the other way, the other business went
Exploded.
crazy. And I didn't dive right in. I tiptoed and I started in the stores. I started learning the business. I knew a lot of the people. I knew a lot of the players because, like my dad said, it's a small industry and he's had these relationships since 1985. And I've, broken bread with a lot of these people that have been in the business for a long time. And over time, the ticket business came back and my dad gave me an opportunity to bring it all under one roof and under, the umbrella of the business. We have a lot of different divisions, that we operate, and I love it. I love it, and the opportunity is great. And I think that you don't see many businesses that, especially in a downturn, are thriving after 20 years. And I think that bringing a different perspective into the business and a youthful perspective. My brother-in-law is in the business too, so we really keep it. My cousin Jamie's in the business, so we really keep it within the family. I think it's great, and we're excited for what's ahead.
I wish my family was in the wine business. That would have been more fun than dentist.
Yeah. Yeah, but you do have immaculate teeth, Megan.
He didn't want me to take over the family business.
No, I don't think I would want you working on anyone's teeth.
What?
You were just talking about wanting to drink at 10 in the morning.
Well, even more fun to work on someone's
You imagine her with laughing gas? I don't even want to explore.
Laughing gas. That's
Yeah.
the only reason I'd be a dentist.
Yeah, it's literally the only reason you'd be a
No
dentist.
patience.
Yeah, you'd just be gassing yourself.
Gassing myself.
Where do you see the future of it for you as far as where we mentioned, yes, so some people are drinking less GLP-1s, then you have the NA movement, and I'm not gonna lie, I've had a couple of decent, recommended to me by Psalms, alcohol removed sparkling wines. Wine not yet, but I've actually had a couple of really decent alcohol removed sparkling wines. How do you see that shifting for you guys? Is there a world where you explore some of the NA stuff or some of the lower ABV stuff? Do you even see a market for that for you guys?
Generally speaking, the market has not developed. Even in organic, it's a minute percentage. We've tried to sell organic. The majority of the wine that we sell is organic.
Yeah, it's just not labeled. Go to Italy, it's all organic. Go to Puglia, it's all organic. Yeah.
Yes, but honestly, I really believe that Jesus drank wine. Moses drank wine. FDR drank wine. Lincoln drank wine. So what'll happen is, if you look over the last 20 years, there's been kicks in the wine business that have changed the youth. Provence Rosé changed the view, and that popped. Sancerre came along, and people looked at it. You need, for the younger group of people, they need something to latch on to. That's their nature. And once they latch on to it, they try to, they start. I think that the pressures, the cycle of anti-alcohol is, I'm not a person who thinks that alcohol gives you cancer if you drink it moderately. I think it's healthy. I think wine is healthy, and I, especially in moderation. And I think that people will come around and opinions shift.
Yeah, there'll be another craze. There'll be another Provence craze. There'll be another Sancerre craze. Right now, there's a canned beverage
There's
craze.
a can, yeah. 375s, half bottles are selling. They're up 17%. So you see it in the half bottle sizes because they don't want to throw a bottle away. There's always something that comes around the corner, but the wine business is hundreds, thousands of years old, actually. I don't see it going anywhere.
So there's a question just for both of you. What is one bottle that everybody should try once?
If you haven't tried any wine ever, because I cut my teeth in California, it should not be Cabernet. It should be Zinfandel, Red Zin, dry Red Zin.
But as in like Lodi Red Zin, like hot climate, jammy?
As not Lodi, I would say Amador Valley, that area. I think that the older vines tend to be a little drier, but they show big, bold fruit. And I think people are scared because they think that wine is pruny. It's not pruny.
Right.
It's really it's they talk about wine and food pairing. You should be able to drink a glass of wine if you haven't just brushed your teeth, and it should be pleasant on the first taste. But open it up, let it air, and go for it.
What about you, Ed? What's one bottle?
I'm a fan of Pinots. I like Pinots. They're light. They're easy to drink. Oregon Pinots. They're not heavy. They don't sit on you, for a long time, and they're very enjoyable. So I'm a big fan of a Pinot. And I know you spoke about William and Valley, and that's a great region, and that's something that's definitely undervalued and underappreciated by people who might not know that area. But Pinots are very
aged Barolos too. I mean,
I may have had one over the weekend, so yes.
Yeah, aged Barolos are fantastic.
Yeah, there's a reason why they call it the king of Italian wine. It's
yeah. I mean, we have a great relationship with Fontana Freda, which with library wines every 10 years. We have access to them, and even though the prices have gone up, the wine is delicious.
I mean, I could tell you my wine that got away. Because, I think we all have I can imagine in your business, there's a wine that got away that you didn't pull the trigger quick enough or you should have bought more of. For me, it was our Lopez Heredia, Viña Todonia. You guys had from Rioja, one of my favorite wines in the world. Every current release is at least 10 years old. It's kind of wild, the way their library works. And I'm still pissed at myself because I only bought 3 bottles of it on WTSO. Is there a wine for you that got away? The timing wasn't right. Just something that I don't know. I don't know what the circumstances were, but that you're like, I'm not going to let that happen again.
We get 30 to 40 opportunities to buy wines every day. It has to fit a specific parameter of price, value. We walked away from product that the winery didn't want to discount or believed that the value was in the wholesale price or the retail price, or they thought that we were going to ruin their name with 3 hours on the internet because they couldn't sell it at Capital Grill or any one of the chains. So we lose opportunity, but you have to just go on to the next opportunity.
Our main concern is, the customer and you guys. So it's not like we never regret turning something down because we are in love with the wine or in love with the label. Like we would love every, wine to be featured on WTSO. We'd love to be featuring, Petrus and all these higher end wines on WTSO. But with that being said, like, it just doesn't fit the model. So it has to fit the model. It has to fit the box. It has to, fit the discount. It has to fit, all the aspects of the equation, all the check marks, all the check boxes that we check when we sit down with wineries and taste hundreds of wineries on our trips, hundreds of wines, hundreds of wineries that we visit, and that come visit us on our trips to, Wine Paris and Napa Valley and Oregon, Vinitaly and Provine, like all these trips that we do throughout the course of the year to source wine. I mean, it has to fit every single one of those and check every one of those boxes in order to get and appear on WTSO.
The number fascinated me that's 30 to 40 opportunities a day you go
through.
And I'm assuming, I guess this might be a stupid question. You have a team, and do they have to consult with you every time you make a decision? Like how?
The team there's a strict system of electronic input into everything that's available. The price, the value, and all the boxes, half the boxes get checked before we even ask for a sample.
Okay.
And then a sample is requested. The samples come in, then it gets tasted. It gets the decision makers again start through. There's a whole product development team that actually decide with Justin, who is our COO, who actually chooses the wine and makes the final decision.
Wow.
And he's been with me for
20 years.
25.
Well, 20 years at WTSO. He started on the retail end with us at the stores.
The majority of the people that work here, on the administrative and level, have been with me over 15 years.
So I see the two Eagles Super Bowl trophies back there in the background. If Saquon does it again, and if Jalen Hurts has a great year, and the Eagles win again, what is on the table? What are you opening?
Don't worry. I'll invite you. It'll be something really big.
Something good.
So, a Magnum of Latache? Like, what's going on? What do we?
We Gisler. There's a lot of things on the table.
Along with a nice 3-liter of champagne, something that we could definitely. Gotta have a couple with it.
Of course, I have a bottle of Krug there that's been sitting forever because my Dolphins are they're never going to win a Super Bowl. If the Knicks did it in 53, the Dolphins are 52 years. So next year, this is the year for my Dolphins. Gentlemen, I got to say, you're both a gem. I'm so grateful to have this opportunity for Megan and I to chat with you both. It is it's also great to see family and family businesses, to see entrepreneurship. If we could leave the guests with a thought, what is the best advice you can give someone who is starting a business? Doesn't have to be wine, but they want to keep it in the family.
Work really hard and don't get depressed when a business fails or a concept fails. Failure leads to successes because it's an educational process. And listen to the people who have a little more seasoned experience because they've been through it and they try to keep you away from the potholes. But don't get nervous if success comes in your 40s and 50s and not in your 20s and 30s.
Oh, thank you. Oh, God.
Listen.
I'm good now. Thank you. I needed to hear that. I've been depressed for 10 years.
Yeah. I mean, in baseball, if you're successful 3 out of 10 times, you're in the Hall of Fame. So when it comes to business, you just got to be successful once, really. And all the feelings.
And it takes to hit a home run the first time at bat is rare.
It's very rare. You got to hit a lot of singles.
Correct.
To find the success. And, even in a business that's been around, on the retail end 40 plus years and, on the online end 20 plus years, we throw a lot of darts at the wall that don't stick. We throw a lot of opportunities at the wall. We throw a lot of ideas at the wall. We throw a lot of, we constantly sit in the boardroom and come up with new innovations and new ideas. And, one of the main reasons that WTSO has been so successful is because even with our 20-year anniversary coming up, we still have a lot of new and exciting things coming up the pike. We have a redesign of our website coming up in a couple weeks. We're bringing back our old style marathon that we haven't done in 10 plus years next week, Tuesday and Wednesday, where the bottles will only feature one item at a time and it'll change once it's sold out or every 15 minutes. We have over 100 labels being offered over the next, over the course of that marathon. We have some AI implemented tools that we're going to bring to the website to help people with suggestions of what to drink based on their cellar, their palate, their buying history. If you're having a party, how much to purchase, what not to purchase, what to serve. You just got to constantly just be innovative and just think outside the box. And I think as a team, we do our best to try to do that.
And for the folks listening at home, if you're listening to this episode the week it released, that Tuesday and Wednesday that he's referring to is this Tuesday and Wednesday. So not as in like next week, guys. Don't worry. But when this episode goes live, that particular week, that sale that he's talking about, that marathon, is available that week. So please tune into WTSO. Use the code YUM20 and you're going to get a nice little discount on that case club, because chances are you will fill up that case club quickly during a marathon sale. Again, Joe, Ed, thank you so much. We like to end the show the same every time, and that's the only thing we don't get back in life is time. And we want to thank you and acknowledge you for spending a little bit of time with us here on Kill the Bottle Podcast. For the folks listening at home, the same. Please, thank you for spending some of your precious time listening to us and maybe having a little road rage in the car while you do it. So please like, follow, subscribe, check out at WTSO on social media, of course, and then WTSO.com. Download their app, become a member. It is nothing but positive and great things. So, gentlemen, thank you so much. And for the folks listening at home, we'll see you next week.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.